super simple slides. Guys, this is just going to be my numbers for the month of July. So you'll see like the activity is very low because when we launched RSD, obviously you guys are going to have additional responsibilities tacked on, right? Like doing the one-on-ones, doing the training, stuff like that. So not trying to make excuses for myself, but just know that for you guys, your activity is going to be much higher than what mine appears to be on this slideshow, right? And so the whole point of this is really just to show you guys to trust the process, right? Not so much stress about the end result, but more so like what to look for in your numbers. And especially if you're doing outbound dials, because that's all I do. I try to work like the bottom of the barrel so that when you guys have issues on the phones, I can empathize with you guys, right? Like, and I can understand where you're coming from. So I don't really do TV call-ins. These are going to be based on a lead that is solicited from like a website. And they're called pre-qualified callbacks. If you guys have been in the industry for a while, you know what a pre-qualified callback is, right? So basically in July, I wrote 22,000. The amount of calls I made was 869 calls, total talk time, 14 hours of talk time in the month of July, right? Each dial, just for you guys, so you guys know when you run this report, each dial, if you're doing outbound, it takes about a minute. I like to hang up right around 40 seconds to 55 seconds if there's no voicemail. And that is about a minute on average. So if you are looking at how much time you're working per day and you're doing 3 hours of talk time per day, plus the 150 dials, that's about 5 hours of RPA, right? This is all based on revenue producing activities. And I'm a big proponent of revenue producing activities. Is going on Google and ChatGPT and coming up with ad copy a revenue producing activity? No. The only thing that's going to make you guys money is dialing and talking to interested prospects, right? So that's all I want you guys to focus on. Steady performance, right? What does that mean? Does that mean that every single week, if you want to hit 20K, you need to hit 5,000 every week? Does that mean you need to make 217 dials every week, right? Do you need to have 3 hours of talk time every single week? The answer is actually no. It'll never look like this. Like most of you guys, if you go in there and you run a report for week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, your numbers will never be consistent in that manner, right? But the one thing that should be consistent is the minimum metric for your dials and the minimum metric for your talk time, either or, right? So here's what it actually looks like. Okay, here's the example for week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. 3K first week, 183 dials, 2 hours of talk time, right? So each week you can see it's like dramatically different. The biggest week was week 4, right? 10K in the last week. Okay. Talk time was higher. Dials, as far as an average for the both combined, is much higher than all of these weeks. But look at week 3, guys. 7K, 300 dials, and only 5 hours of talk time, right? But if I'd be tripping out, on week 2, it's 1,000. And it's like, dude, what's going on here, right? And so this week I was probably panicking. I think this is like 2 sales or 3 sales. So $1,200 in that week, and I only got 3 sales. And I'm just like, bro, what the hell is going on? Like, it's got to be the leads. It's got to be this. It's got to be that. But when you remember your averages, you'll remember that the worth is in the work, right? So as long as you're planting those seeds, eventually they'll sprout. Now, I can't tell you how. I mean, that's just to another entity out there or something. But the numbers work, like the law of averages works, right? Some other metrics to look at that are cool. And I just kind of geeked out, I guess, with the last 5 minutes I had in creating this. Your dials to sale ratio and your talk time to sale ratio, but it does help with a couple of things, right? Like, where should you guys be allocating your resources? Should it be in the TV call-ins if you're doing both, or should it be on the outbounds, right? A performance evaluation. So if you guys are noticing that you have 500 dials every week and your talk time is declining, maybe you should switch your number in the CRM. Now, I'll give you guys some insight with what I do. And I've done outbound pretty much the whole time I've been an insurance agent, right? I've never changed my number. Like, I don't have more than 2 numbers. I changed my number in the CRM 2 times, right? To me, that's just another way to distract you and get you away from the outcome that you ultimately want. It shows that you don't trust the process. If you're saying, well, people aren't answering the phone. Here's another way to look at it, right? If somebody called you 100 times in 1 month, you know what, let's just say 3 times a day, every day. It's the same number every day. They're looking at your number, right? And they're like, damn, this is Ashley Bryan, or damn, this is Noah Sullivan calling me, because they get the automations, right? In the CRM, they get the emails, they get the automations, and hopefully you guys have your phone number in those automations that go out. So if you're changing your number and I answer the phone because I'm just not ready to talk to James yet, but I know it's James, and then James changes his number 5 times a week and I get you each time, I'm like, dude, I ain't doing business with this guy, right? So that's how I look at it. I mean, how you got to treat people how you want to be treated. And when people are like switching their numbers like that, to me personally, it's just like I don't know, man. I wouldn't like it, to be honest with you. I wouldn't like it. So anyways, nothing against anybody who's like changing their numbers and stuff. That's just how I look at it, right? So the sales process optimization, you know, you got goal setting, you can forecast where you guys need to be at. And ultimately, when you understand these numbers and you go to scale, this is how you set the minimum KPIs for your agents, right? Even if you have an LOA agent, how are you going to know what work that they need to get done to achieve a result if you don't know the amount of work it takes to get the result, right? And then obviously continuous improvement. So here's kind of what a dials to sale ratio looks like. Obviously, you just break down the amount of dials over the 4 weeks, and then you divide, or you add up your sales over the 4 weeks and then divide those two together. So, I mean, for me, it was 39.5 dials per sale. So every 40 dials I made equaled a sale in the CRM, whether that's application signed and submitted, approved, or the issued, right? And then you have talk time to sale ratio. So 40 minutes of talk time per sale on average, right? So if yours is about 3 hours of talk time, that's normal. That's normal. And that's based on a 5 to 8 closing percentage for any outbound lead. Forget TTC, forget outbound. The only exception I'll make to that is age data. Okay. The other metric, if we go back, is about 150 dials per sale. So if you guys run a report right now, you'll see that anything below 150 dials and you're making a sale, you're right on target, right? If you're doing 3 hours of talk time per day and you make a sale and it averages 1 sale per 3 hours of talk time, you're right on target. Nothing's wrong. Now, if you're going a little bit over that, schedule a one-on-one, right? Plug into some of these trainings, okay? I have a ton of resources for agents, especially if you guys are onboarding. Like, it's structured in a way that we set up goals for you. And pretty much for most of you guys on the call right now, I don't think it's even been enough time to look at the milestone. But in 90 days, my goal for you guys is just to hit whatever goal you have in the CRM, right? So some of you guys have like 20K a month, some have like 40, 50, 10K, whatever that is, it's just up to you. But that's my goal for you, is for you guys to be able to hit that milestone after the 90 days, right? Any questions on that? Cool. And then obviously I got my little quote, right? So if you're distressed by anything external outside of yourself, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your perception of it. And this, we obviously have the power to change our perspective of anything that happens without, with outside of self, right? And so one trick that I like to do, again, is to stop focusing on the outcome, right? And focus on the revenue producing activities. The first, start with talk time. All right, if your talk time's not there, are you hitting your minimum dial, right? Or maybe minimum, if you guys are taking inbound leads, are you guys taking at least 3 to 5 inbound leads per day? I adopted a formula.